Welcome to Hastings Outdoors, straight from the Mississippi Flyway to your hearts. Let's go!
Hey guys, I'm Jordan Fromer. I believe in hunting hard, hunting smart, and having a fun time while doing it. And shooting limits, well, that's just the icing on the cake. I revel in the journey just as much as the successes it brings.
Oh, hey, yeah, sorry about that. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, how you doing? Welcome to another episode of Hastings Outdoors. I'm your host, Andrew. Having a little bit of fun there. Coming to you not live in any way, shape, or form from the Hastings Outdoor Studio, located in the one, the only world-renowned Dream Building Garage. Come on in, have a seat, kick your feet up, relax. Welcome. I hope this finds you well, guys. And, man, I tell you what, I've got a lot of work to do, and I'm going to dive into that in just a moment. The meat of the podcast is going to be kind of a season update that turned into a season prep update, hunt recap. We'll see what happens. But, ladies and gentlemen, to start this off, the Hastings Outdoors mission statement, sharing my waterfowl and outdoor experience to promote participation and conservation of our natural resources. So, yeah, there's that, guys. Little tidbit, shameless plug here. I'm not even embarrassed about this at all. If you guys want to support conservation, one way you can do that is check out, I think it's on Instagram, maybe Facebook too. Definitely Facebook. Hastings Outdoors on Facebook. Check this out. The Indiana Ducks Unlimited is selling a calendar giveaway. Some people call it a gun calendar, whatever it may be. So you buy a calendar, and each day of the year of 2024, they're giving away a gun. I think I saw a crossbow on there too. So, but it's primarily guns, and literally each day of the year, I think Monday through Friday, they're giving away a gun. So it's pretty gnarly. And then even on the 4th of July, Independence Day 2024, they're giving away Ducks Unlimited is their selection of the top 3 guns for the year, and I think $1,000 gift card, something like that. And they're doing that on Christmas Day as well. So if you guys are interested, check out the Facebook, hit me up. I will mail it. You don't have to be present to win. However, since it is a firearm thing, you have to be of legal age and be able to lawfully possess a firearm. But the cool thing about it is, guys, it's a cool calendar. You can see the gun that's going to be given away each day. There's a picture of it on that day. And also, with purchasing that calendar, you get a 1 year, goodness gracious, 1 year subscription to the Ducks Unlimited magazine, which is actually really cool. I really enjoy that magazine. And you get a 1 year membership to Ducks Unlimited, and it's only $60. So if you guys are looking for a Christmas gift, I know there's still time before Christmas. Guys, you got 21 days. 21 días más. You've got some time, but if you're thinking of a Christmas gift for your dad, uncle, mom, sister, brother, wife, dog, whoever it may be, check this out, guys. It's a really cool opportunity. I don't know how many are going to be sold, but the odds are really good. I don't think there's many being sold. But check it out. It's a really cool idea. It helps promote conservation. It helps raise money for conservation for Ducks Unlimited. And so part of that is the whole giveaway thing. And so it's pretty cool. You can buy a calendar, get a cool membership, get a cool magazine, support conservation, and just maybe say May 13th. I don't know if that's a Friday or I don't know what day that is. Some Tuesday in May, you may get an email saying, "Hey, dude, you won this gun," and then you can go look at your calendar, and be like, "Dang, man, I won that gun." So that's cool. If you guys are interested, check that out, guys. Like I said, in the mission statement, promoting participation and conservation of our natural resources, and this is one way you can do it. It's a really cool incentive, guys. It's a really cool incentive. You get a chance to get something really cool. But if you don't win something cool, you still get a cool magazine, a membership, and get a cool calendar. So, not to mention, you're helping a really good cause. Also, while I'm on the topic, if you guys are curious about what Ducks Unlimited is doing in your area, OnX has a new filter for Ducks Unlimited wetland projects. So you can hit that filter and check out what's going on in your area, that kind of thing. I looked at Indiana. I can't remember how many there are, but there's some decent sized projects going on in my home state of Indiana right now, and I was pretty happy to see that because when I first joined Ducks Unlimited, I didn't know. I knew the general idea that it's wetland and habitat conservation. I didn't understand where. Is all my money going to go straight to Saskatchewan or Ontario, or is it going out to, oh, what's that crazy guy out there in Kansas? What do you got? What's his name? Elliot something? North American waterfowler. Go check him out, guys. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I didn't know where the money was going. And I wanted to donate regardless, but it was cool to see that there were projects literally not that far from me that Ducks Unlimited is working to preserve habitat and help not just the duck species or waterfowl species, but a number of species. So that's pretty cool. So got that out of the way, guys. But like I said, one more time. If you're interested, check it out. Hit me up on Facebook. Is probably the best place, guys, because I'm not sure if I put it on a story on Instagram or not. So check out Facebook if you're interested. PayPal, cash, we'll figure it out. But yeah, let me know, guys. It's a really cool deal. But to dive into the meat and the bones, ladies and gentlemen, of the podcast, let's kick it off with some season updates. So far, not that great. Not that great. I have been seeing birds, and I've been steadily seeing more birds. But I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss, guys. I really am, because it's been a weird year. And granted, I only have this is my second season, but based off of what I saw last season compared to this season, I can definitely know, I can definitely know, I can notice a difference. And so, that being said, I'm sure all you other seasoned waterfowlers out there are also experiencing the same situation where it seems, just hypothetically, it seems as if, that's hilarious. I just got a text from my Ducks Unlimited chapter president. That is funny. But it seems like the birds just aren't pushing down. So I'm going to deal with this momentarily. Don't worry about that. I'll get back with him in a moment. But so yeah, it seems that dude, I wonder if he listens to this. I don't know. No idea. What's up, dude? Anywho, it seems like the migration is just kind of stalled. It seems like there's a bit of a trickle at times and then not so much. A bit of a trickle at times, not so much. And so I'm not sure what's going on. And unfortunately, with a lot of things like this, we don't really have good information until after the fact. And so it's kind of a bummer. I was hoping that the cold front this past week that I spoke about on the podcast, and I think even a week before that, maybe, I don't know, was going to push birds down from the Canadian lands, all that good stuff, to my area of Norte, Indiana. And it didn't. It didn't really seem to do that. All it seemed to do is push the birds that were here out. I don't know, guys. So, but after listening to several other podcasts, I listened to the Duck Gun podcast, which you heard as the intro here, and North American Waterfowler by Elliot Snyder. I think maybe even Rogers. I'm not sure. But it seems everyone's kind of experiencing the same thing. But I don't know. It's not to say that there aren't waterfowl out there to be had. The migration just seems behind this year. At least that's the best case scenario, that it's just a little delayed. Worst case scenario, something's going wrong with the population. Now, I know that beginning in 2023, and this whole year, really, we've been experiencing a drought pretty much across the country. And so that does play a part of it. Not a lot of water. And so I don't know. There's a lot of theories. But the one thing I do know is I'm not seeing as many birds. So that is a season update for you guys. Now, the not so fun stuff to roll into the season update / season project that has come about. If you guys didn't listen to the last, what was it? Not the last podcast, but the podcast before. So that would be, I have no idea. I'm so sorry. I don't keep track of the numbers until I actually post these things, guys. So, oh man, that would be episode 46, Zero Birds Down, Nightmare of a Hunt. If you guys listen to that, you know this already, but we're gonna dive into the nitty gritty of it right now. Um, the outboard on the Dragonfly 3, aka my duck hunting boat, my 1652 John boat with a big old Avery Quickset on it. It's the big duck boat. Um, the outboard is a 1986 40 horse Johnson 2-stroke, and for some reason I don't know, guys. I'm not a veteran marine mechanic here, and I'm not a seasoned outboard expert. I know a little bit here and there about certain things, and for whatever reason, it keeps blowing starter solenoids. Now, I have done some research, and I've come up with some ideas that make sense. I've got to check some things, check the resistance on the starter, see how that's going, see what kind of amperage it's trying to draw, that kind of thing, and to see what's going on with it. Because when I got this thing, it wasn't running. Went through it with a fine tooth comb for the most part, other than pulling the head. I cleaned the carbs, got them rebuilt, reinstalled, all that good stuff, tuned them up. It didn't come with an ignition cable, so it was a remote steer, aka it had a steering wheel set up from the factory, and so I turned it into a tiller steer, which isn't that bad. I have tons of fabrication experience, so I just made my own tiller handle with throttle and gear shift. And then the biggest issue I was running into was it did not have the ignition cable that plugged into the outboard itself. And I don't know about you guys, but trying to pull start a 40, especially a cold 40 horse, that just doesn't sound like a good day to me ever. So that being said, I got on the old eBays to find an ignition cable that hopefully had a key with it. And I found one that was close. I'm not sure if it's the right one, but it was working. Don't know. So I got that cable. I got the ignition with a key. It plugs in pretty good. Obviously it came with a key, and I think it came with a spare. That was pretty gnarly. And then I had to get a starter solenoid for the outboard. Tried to track down what it was, get an OEM number, and trying to find that OEM number or the OEM starter solenoid was a nightmare. However, I think that might be the route I need to take just to see what happens. And then the original starter wasn't working right. The actual starter motor itself. Replaced that, got a solenoid, got the ignition, and got the thing to chooch a little bit there. Bit of a wiring issue here and there. Got that solved. New plugs, all that good stuff, fresh gas. And so, yeah, also, just for your information here, it came with a VRO, which is I believe it stands for variable. Can't talk to you. Oh, I did it again. Oh my goodness. All right. Woo. Try that again. It came with a variable ratio oiler, which is the oil injection system for this that Johnson had for several years. I'm not a big fan of that because I didn't want to keep an oil reservoir on the boat. And I have heard, I don't know if there's much validity to this, guys, but I have heard that if you jump on it, say you're farting around and you jump on it to cross the lake, you jump up on plane real quick, there is a chance, and this is a theory, again, take it as a grain of salt, that there will be a lag in the oil versus the fuel, and eventually could cause wear, gouging, ring issues, whatever. I don't know. But I've never been a fan of that. It seems like a cool idea, but it seems like it's to begin with. I mean, I'm sure people have had it work well for years. However, I didn't want to monkey with it. I'd rather run. I think it's 50-1. I don't know what it is. I'm not sure what the mixed gas ratio is right now. I think it's 50-1. I'd rather run mixed gas. That way I know there's oil in there. And call it good. Eliminate one step of the process. Plus it saves room in the boat, so that's a win for me. So I took a standard vacuum style fuel pump, put that on there, got the thing running. However, ever since then, I've had issues with the starter solenoid just not working. Now, granted, the first time I did buy one, I just found whatever one I thought might work on eBay, just to test, not eBay, on Amazon, just to test out, just to see what happens. Because I did get the outboard to, well, the starter motor, I should say, to spin and engage the flywheel by jumping, the old solenoid, or where it should have been, I should say. And so I wanted to get a cheap solenoid just to see what happens. So I found a cheap Chinesium solenoid, and it worked okay. Ran it a couple, 2-3 times maybe, and there she goes. So, order a newer, better one. Same thing happened. Ran it a couple times, there it goes. Turn the key, nothing happens. And so I actually had a battery, a short battery cable that I used to jump the solenoid, and I got it running that way. And that's what I'd been doing for a while because I forgot to fix that. Oops. And so on the episode, was it 46 or 45, whatever it was, I think it was 46. That day, that's what I was doing to start the outboard. Less than ideal, especially when there's a key right there. You should be able to turn and crank the outboard. Nevertheless, that's what I've been doing, and it was semi-functional. However, it's time to dig into her, hopefully before the weekend, and see what is going on in that electrical system, the ignition system, to see if I can get reliability out of the key start. Because, unfortunately, guys, on the last hunt that I'm going to get into shortly, I was trying to jump the old girl, get it started so I could head back to the ramp, and, old fumble fingers here dropped that little cable down into the depths of the lake. So yeah, there's that. So I had to use the trolling motor all the way back, which isn't bad. It actually pushes the boat about 3 miles an hour, because I put a 70-pound thrust on this thing. I'd rather have more power than not enough. But yeah, so it's time to dig into it, especially because this coming weekend, I am looking to hunt a spot that I couldn't get to before, because of the skim ice and all that junk. I'm looking to get into a spot that I couldn't get into before, and it's going to be a little bit of a boat ride. I did it with the trolling motor back this early summer, late spring, and it took forever. I got there, got back, whatever. But getting out to a hunting spot in the morning, I don't want to fart around. I know where I'm going. I'm familiar with the area. I want to, as soon as I launch the boat, I want to go and get there and get back. That's all I need. You heard me, outboard. That's all I need. We'll figure the rest out later. So, fingers crossed, Lord willing, and what? That name makes sense. Let's try that again. Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. Hopefully, I can get this remedied at least for the weekend. We'll see what happens. Worst case scenario, I actually think I have some more battery cable. I'm going to make another jumper just in case it doesn't work. That way I can get the old girl running and, woogie boogie down to the hunting spot and back. So we'll see what happens. Crazy things going on. Also, I had to fix the blind. The Avery Quickset on the back towards the... I got the Quickset used. And there was a little bit of wear and tear. Nothing crazy. But it has... it's not flared. What is it? Crimped tubes that connect into each other. And it's aluminum tubing, and so they crimped it down so it would slide into the inside diameter of the other tube. Well, somehow in the process of cold temperatures, fighting with the boat, I don't know, one of those snapped in the back. And so there's a pickup on Instagram of how I fixed that. I pulled out the calipers to see what dimension I was working with on the inside of the square tube. And fortunately, it was a fuzz over 3/4 on the inside, and I had some 3/4 by 3/4 square tube, steel square tube, laying around. So now I got about a 2-foot section of that in there with some self-tappers, a little bit of spray paint. We're back in business, ladies and gentlemen. Is it ideal? No. Is it pretty? Absolutely not. Does it work? Yes, it does. All right. So, guys, the hunting recap. I talked about not seeing a lot of birds. I've been steadily seeing a few more birds, but not a lot of birds. And man, I tell you what, this past weekend was crazy. I really wished I had someone else to hunt with me because solo hunting this weekend was a nightmare. It really wasn't that bad, but to be honest with you guys, maybe it's just me. But taking the boat out by itself. So when I run the boat out, I'm taking the kayak, I'm taking decoys, obviously all my other gear and whatnots. And so the general idea is that I would go out to a spot I've already kind of pre-selected on via OnX, something like that, something where I've seen birds, so on. So I found a spot, so boogie on out there, and then what I've started doing is once I get to said spot, obviously I'm gonna throw my waders on, jump in the water, drag the boat as close to shore as I can, get it all tucked up nice and neat, and then set the blind up. Get the blind set up ASAP, and then after that, get the kayak out, get the decoys out, and work on the set. That way, worst case scenario, if I'm losing daylight, I can always hunt with a few less decoys. But I got somewhere to hide. That way, I'm not getting caught and missing opportunities. That was the theory, and it worked out pretty good this weekend. So I'm gonna keep rolling with it. But I've mentioned this before, man. The only thing quick about the quick set blind is the set. The stow and put away part is a nightmare by yourself. You got to roll all that stuff up. I've got little bungees that came with it to secure everything down because there's two layers. Okay, for those of you who don't know, on the inside of the quick set blind, the Avery quick set, there's a canvas layer for like a wind blocker and whatnot. It also keeps light from coming in and getting weird. But there's an inside canvas layer. It's tan on the front, the outside of the boat, and black on the inside of the boat. And then on the outside of that, there is camo netting where you can tie your grass and whatnots. So the canvas layer goes down to about the gunnel, and then the rest of it goes down to the water. That's cool. However, with the raffia grass on there and the camo netting and stuff like that, you have to roll that up and then roll the canvas up over it to kind of secure everything down, and then bungee it, fasten it somehow. Doing that by myself, giant pain in the butt. It takes forever. Not a huge fan. But so it's just hunting this way at least is a lot of work, and I'm kind of leaning towards my original theory of if I'm going to take the boat, I'm just using it as a ferry, not the wing kind, but the water kind, to boogie on out to an area I want to hunt, and then stashing it somewhere, a couple hundred yards away, and hunting from the kayak in the location I want to hunt. So, hypothetically, we'll say X is the place I want to hunt, use the boat, boogie out to X, dump the decoys, run the boat back down to, Y, hide the boat, kayak back to X, hunt X. There you go. And I think that's really the way I'm leaning because it's a lot less work. Yeah, it's still about the same amount of work. I'm still setting decoys, but I don't have to monkey with the quick set by myself, so that's cool. I really like this blind, but really, it to make it efficient and quick, two-man operation here, guys. At least in my opinion. And it would be it would be nice to not have to get out there 3 hours before daylight just to make sure I have enough time to get set up by myself. So we'll see what happens. Anywho's so this past weekend, guys, Saturday morning, I boogied on out to a spot where I'd seen some birds earlier in the week, and I found a decent location, a nice little peninsula on a peninsula. So that was cool. Not much of a peninsula on a peninsula, but it is a peninsula. That's a lot of peninsula for you. A little tongue twister for the day. Say that 42 times backwards. But so I found a decent little spot and got set up. Like I said, I got there pretty early. Got set up. Got the boat pulled as far as I could up and got the blind out, worked on my decoys. The spread didn't look that great. I was really running out of time. And one thing I need to work on is my spread, for sure. I've been struggling with this all season, and I don't know why. I think I need to just calm down, take my time, and get my spread looking better uh, than how I have been, because I've been feeling behind the ball constantly because it's just me. And so what I think I really need to focus on is I'm getting there plenty early. Take the time, get my spread right. That way, I put my best foot forward. So I got everything set up, and within a few minutes of setting up, it wasn't shooting light yet, but I'm seeing birds. Not a lot, a couple solos, or maybe one just going back and forth like a goober, a pair here and there, and then some seagulls started trickling in. And I heard some pterodactyls, aka sandhill cranes, in the distance, and so there's activity. Birds are moving. The only problem with Saturday was next to zero wind. Zilch. I think the high for the wind was 5 miles an hour that day. So I had the motion duck spreader out in the spread. I was working that thing pretty much nonstop as best I could between calling and trying to shoot. A lot going on. And I started seeing a lot of birds. The craziest thing was I think this was my first real experience of hunting in decent fog. And it was the craziest thing because it was so foggy, but on the lake it's not foggy on the water. It's like hanging above the lake. And so I would see, say a group of 10 mallards, ducks, whatever, coming through or approaching. They pass. I call to them. They circle, and 3 times in their circle disappear into the fog, come out, disappear in the fog, come out. And so I think that was definitely not in my favor. I think they had a hard time really seeing the spread all that well, and I don't think that really worked in my favor. I'm not sure. Don't really have a lot of data on it, but I don't think it helped that well. But it happened several times, and there was just a lot going on. I was feeling like I wasn't doing my best job working the motion duck spreader, calling at the same time, and trying to keep the shotgun ready. Oh man, it was nuts. And so I had a lot of birds in the area, a lot of ducks. I mean, I had several groups come through. I had some Canadas come off in the distance, and I couldn't find my call. I don't think my call would have done anything anyway because I'm still working on that. Yeah, so a lot of birds, the most birds I've seen all year. Unfortunately, though, we are getting later in the season, and so the necessity to be on top of your game is, I think, higher than ever with the lack of birds for the most part, and the birds that I'm going to see now have been hunted since they left, wherever they came from. So they've been pressured, they've been hunted, they're a little weary, and so, oh man, you gotta have it right. You gotta have it right. And that being said, oh man, I did my best. And it was just, honestly, I think it was just too much for me by myself. The setup wise, guys, as far as that goes, I really wish I had a buddy to call or a buddy to rock the motion duck spreader. I don't know if it would have helped or not, but it just would have been nice. It would have been nice because trying to watch these birds, pulling the spreader, watching birds, hold my call. Okay, they passed, and then call, and okay, they're coming back around. Oh, they passed over here. They're heading away. Hit the cut down. Blah, 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 and then they come back, circle. And it's just, oh my goodness, holy cow! Felt like a fry cook at a fish fry on a Friday night. Busy. The one cool thing was I was seeing a lot of birds. That was pretty gnarly. But the weirdest thing was like about, I want to say 8:50 in the morning. Nada. Shut off like a faucet, man. And before that, the craziest thing that happened, I couldn't get a lot of these groups to really, really come in. They weren't committing, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fog. I mean, I was hitting pretty well, but I think a lot of that had to do with the fog, and it was just not a good recipe. But I did have one solo duck. I'm not sure. It looked like, at a distance, it looked like a black duck, but then again, everything looked like a black duck that day because of the fog. So I don't know. It was about the size of a mallard. So I'm guesstimating black duck mallard, something like that. I had one come in from the southwest. It was kind of beelining over my, towards the northeast. And as soon as it passed, I just, hit it with the greeting call. Got a little aggressive with it because at this point I was getting kind of frustrated. And boom, came back around, circled, kind of passed again, just hammered it again. And it circled again, took a longer circles to the south, and then lined up. And I was like, oh, here we go. And so, coolest thing, guys, this bird worked. It came in. It's coming in, beelining right for me. And I haven't had that much experience with this, guys. I'm going to tell you, I'm not the best duck hunter in the world. So I haven't had that many opportunities to shoot ducks. Plain and simple. And so the craziest thing, I was watching this bird come in, feet down, wings cupped, looking where it's going to land, checking out the decoys beside it, and I don't know what happened. It got well within range. I mean, it was close, guys, like 25 yards close. And I pop up, draw, boom, nail it, feathers just, and the bird just turns, flies away. And by the time I had a chance to react with my follow-up shots, man, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. So I don't know. I'm shooting Federal Speed Shock because they run great through the gun, size 4, and had my mid-range choking, so it should have been pretty good for that range. And I don't know. I dusted that bird pretty good and hung her right and gone. It beats me. That was pretty much the action for the day, guys. No bueno. But hey, that's hunting, right? And so, not sure if it was the fog. Not sure if it was my lack of aim. I mean, I can always get better at that, right? Not the fog part, the aim fart. Woo. It's definitely been a Monday, guys. Definitely been a Monday. This guy's on here talking about aim farts. So how you aim your farts? Anywho. Still having fun. It's all good. So I saw a lot more birds in the area, and I was hoping to convince Alamo to participate this coming weekend, and hope, because the weather's supposed to stay pretty much the same, like low 40s all week, a little bit cooler at night, not a lot going on. But Saturday, oh my goodness, the forecast looks amazing for birds. Winds 10 to 20. I think the high is 43. Partly cloudy. Maybe a chance of rain in the afternoon. I'm not even sure anymore, but it looks good. And so I'm hoping we make something happen there. He may bring a buddy along, I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Either way, I'm not sure. But definitely if Alamo goes with me, maybe I can get him on the podcast for a post-hunt recap. We'll see what happens. But so fingers crossed. I got some work to do on the boat, so guys, I got to get out of here. But looking forward to the future, guys. May have Alamo's buddy, have 3 dudes in the boat, seeing what happens. I'm really excited for the possibility of having another caller in the boat. That way, if necessary, I can add to the calling, but I'm not doing it by myself. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Either way, it's going to be cool. Hopefully the birds are hanging in the area. And I'm really hoping, guys, that the migration is just a touch behind. That's all I'm hoping for. Because if not, what's going on? Where the birds at? Don't know. All right, guys. That's enough craziness for the day. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. You're going to hear this in just a second. But please, if you like this, want to support it, whatever you want to do, however you want to look at it, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. That's the primaries, guys. I don't even know what all I have. But definitely Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Check it out, guys. Like, share, subscribe. Share with somebody you know. Spread the word. Do me a solid. I appreciate it. Until next time, hopefully you guys can get out and hunt, get some meat on the table, stay safe, get after it, practice conservation. Yeah, I like that. Sounds good. All right, guys, I'll catch you next time. Peace. Check out Hastings Outdoors on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Like, share, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Thanks for listening.